I got a little distracted when I asked our new friends to point me in the direction of the cooking section. It was so vast. I found so many new bread recipes I can't wait to try out. I also found something for you. For me. Please, God, let it be something to replace my Swift Strike. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Lost Game Chronicles. It's Kelly. Kelly from the future, because everything you've seen up to this point has been pre-recorded back in July. So it's now middle of October. So I hope you guys have been enjoying this playthrough. I kind of did like a little announcement thing at the beginning of the last episode you would have saw, and now we are continuing. This is my first time playing this game since July. I'm hoping I still remember all the voices. I've been listening to them as I've been recording them, so in theory I remember them all. But I'm excited for this. I am excited to find out what happened to Fable. I'm excited to maybe see our vampire friend again, who I'm still pretty sure is like one of my favorite characters. Who else? We haven't seen anything from Tia in a long time, and what's his name? The big guy with the muscles. I don't remember. We haven't seen them in a while. Melly just came back at the end of the last episodes, or yeah, at the beginning of the last episode, middle, something like that. So I just said basically the end, the beginning, and the middle. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. I am really excited to see what happens next, so let's do it. I'm probably just gonna do a short recording tonight. Now, the other thing that's happened is I recorded this in the like 3 or 4 days after this game released, and it has had some patches since. I don't know what that's gonna have changed for our playthrough, but it is worth noting in case there's anything glaringly different. We might see some changes. I know that the way that quests work is different, but we'll explain that when we get there, when it becomes relevant. So let's carry on. Act 3, the pen and the sword, I think. Or no, it would have been this one. It's got to be this one, right? I don't know why I'm asking you guys. Disaster Tea and Revelations, 31st of Astral Moon. All right, there it is. Our inn. Let's start day. Oh shit! They're back. It's thunderstorming in Avalon right now, just in case anyone was wondering. And there's our little buddy Ranu. Yeah, and our jackdaw. And these two are back. Welcome back. Good to see you both again. Hold your enthusiasm, Innkeeper. We bring tales of disaster. I don't mind a little disaster in my tales. After all, you tell them so well. She really does. As do you, Clay. Thank you. I hope my stories are as good as your drinks. They are to me. Speaking of which, can I offer you a drink in exchange for a little insight into your disaster? That'd be great. Something that feels strong and magic-y, right? You remembered. Yes, that one, please. Coming right up. Strong and magic-y. The heck does that... Yeah, see? Look. Oh no, that's cursed coffee. Let's do this. This is the new one. Alright, let's see. So I'm just gonna look through these because I know there was some changes. It's still... Those ones are all gonna still be the same. Strength. Charisma. Now, it might not have affected our save because it started before, like we started the save before. Silent Owl used to be a smart one, and now it's strength. Okay, interesting. All right. Cursed coffee. Strength. Okay. Wait. We're gonna need to add an infusion to this, aren't we? Ironically, this one actually will. It'll give the two smarts. So one of that. And then one more of these. There we go, cursed coffee. Something tasty and strong and hopefully not disastrous. Very tasty, very strong. You've got the best drinks around. Happy to hear that, Clay. Tia, you're bursting at the seams. How were the archives? Fun. Were they? Mayhaps. The bleak stalkers were bleak. Cute. Cute? Very. Jade told us where to find the entrance to the archives. When we got there, we found it surrounded by bleak stalkers. They were quite numerous. And so, shaped. I decided to ask them if they could let us through. And I thought he might need some help with that. So I called on your honey flowers and I extended my divine light to him. It made him glow softly, and they all flocked in like moths to a gentle flame. Did you know they have velvet wings they can fold into their bodies? I didn't. That's fascinating. They were so cuddly and showed off their crawling skills in exchange for carrots. I asked them if they'd like to be our tour guides, and they were so excited. They'd never been tour guides before, and at first they thought it'd involve eating people. I might have acted a bit standoffish when trying to correct their misconception. Clay was able to convey the message much better. He's very good at explaining things. I think he really understands people. And that helps him meet them where they're at. I try to. Everyone has their own way of understanding things. I think that's beautiful. I envy your empathic approach to life, Clay. Thank you, but you've got your own strengths. Like how you're a master of strategy, or how you're good at making people feel safe. I suppose we make a great team. The best, I might say. We made a great team with the bleak stalkers too. They led us right inside the archives, which were huge. Large parts of the Everbloom had collapsed, but even the explorable sections were unbelievably spacious. We had no time for a proper tour, unfortunately. We had to make it back in time for the barbecue after all. That meant we had to be efficient during our search. Though we did take a break to admire the artists' halls the creatures excitedly led us to. We found abandoned pottery equipment that distracted us a little too much. Using more time than was perhaps appropriate, we molded tiny versions of the little critters as a gift to them. They loved them. Afterwards, we split up to cover more ground. Each of us was guided by a group of bleak stalkers. A dangerous choice, that's when the monsters get you. That's what Clay said, so I enchanted the friendship bracelets. Oh shit, they're wearing them! Look! That's awesome. With the little whale. Oh my god, I love it so much. Oh my god. I only just noticed it. That's amazing. God, I love the details in this game. I also love how every character seems to have like their own like theme music, I guess, for lack of a better word. Anyway, that way they would always sense in which direction the other person was located. So neither of us would get lost. It was so smart. It was very useful. I see you kept yours on. I did. They really helped with navigating around the archives, too. It's a beautiful place, you know? I mean, everything's overgrown with vines or withered and full of termites. But we could still tell how much care had gone into building it. Some of the tree branches still had leaves on them. And I saw a couple of stubborn lotus daisies trying to break through around the rocks. I taught the bleak stalkers how to water them. They loved drinking out of the watering can. But they also enjoyed sharing their water with the lotus daisies. Hopefully they'll grow stronger again soon. What a shame all the effort that went into building the archives was for nothing. But it wasn't. It meant something to someone once. And I could still feel that love in it, even during our visit. Maybe it'll even bloom again. It's called the Everbloom, right? Like forever? I wonder who named it. We should go back sometime if we can find any information about the archivists. I bet they knew some great drinking games. Perhaps we should honor their contributions by studying the knowledge they left behind. Why not both? They should be people first, symbols second. Oh, yes. I guess both would work. Good idea, Clay. What else did you find in the archives, besides friends and the beauty of horrors of time? I mean, I got a little distracted when I asked our new friends to point me in the direction of the cooking section. It was so vast. I found so many new bread recipes I can't wait to try out. I also found something for you. For me. Please, God, let it be something to replace my Swift Strike. Jesus. Yes, a recipe on Book of Mixology. First I thought about taking the whole thing, but it was a giant tome and the Bleakstalkers were attached to it. So I ripped out the page that looks the most interesting. We thought it could fit your repertoire. Last Whisper. I bet that finally we've got something to replace our Swiss Strikes. I think it does. Thank you very much. As for me, I asked them to lead me towards dangerous knowledge, and soon I found myself in a hidden study. The Bleakstalkers didn't want to go inside, like they were scared of its contents. So I rewarded them with some treats and then ventured inside alone. It was a complete mess, full of scriptures, scrolls, and even written ramblings that would be forbidden even these days. A little exciting. And worrying. The papers I was able to translate spoke of the apocalypse, of the end of it all. There was research on the roots of the Aether Tree and how to unbind them, written with a shaking hand in fading ink. Was this more the scholarly or mad scientist type of research? Hard to tell. The lines tend to blur with blasphemy. Do you know a lot about the Aether Tree? Because Tia gave me a whole presentation about it. I wouldn't mind a refresher. It's a giant tree. Good start. A world tree. That means our world rests on it, in it, around it, somewhere. In it, mostly. Depends on who you ask. The dragons guard the tree because they created it, maybe, but definitely because they care for us. And since we live in it, it should keep existing as it does now, because no one wants their house to crumble. A lot of people would get hurt if something happened to everyone's home. That's true, but luckily for us, damaging the Aether Tree isn't possible. It's larger than we could ever imagine. To us, it's really more of a concept than a tree. And the dragons defend it. Despite their oath of neutrality, they're no easy foes. There is one way. The sigils of Alcahest. The what now? The sigils of Alcahest. They're the key to destroying the Aether Tree, according to the scrolls I studied under the archive's candlelight. Are they some sort of spell? More of a manual of self-fulfilling prophecy, a way of breaking the cosmos in accordance with its own rules. For the tree to crumble, its foundation must be fractured. The 5 sigils of Alcahest represent the 5 dragons, each of which must be damaged to topple our world's balance. And we've already had damage to 2 of them, right? Because there was the volcano that erupted in Tuat. It's not Tuat. I don't remember which dragon it was. Like one of the dragons. That was what caused the Twilight Flood, right? And then the stars fell from what's her name's, Cassiopeia's realm. So that's 2 of 5. Only 3 left. Only then can the cosmos reshape itself. The scrolls spoke of experiments for creating this sigil, unsuccessful experiments. That's reassuring. Not quite. They were only unsuccessful back then. Next to the notes, I found others, written on cleaner, newer parchment with unfaded ink. Much of it was incomprehensible, written in languages I've never seen before. But various sketches of whales caught my eye, as did altered frostbite scrolls. That sounds unsettlingly familiar. I fear that the starfall broke a sigil. By ripping holes in Cassiopeia's wings, it destabilized her flight. If she's damaged any further, time could be sent into disarray. Meanwhile, the tsunami, like I heard, didn't just plague the archives. The waves broke down the barriers between the primordial sea and the twilight chasm in ways never seen before. So that's 2 broken sigils. That's not good. Especially in a very short amount of time. Like, if that happened over, like, a millennium, you might be like, oh, okay. But the fact that it happened in less than a month, I think, like, there's probably something to that. What an incredible understatement. To witness one such sigil fracture would be anxiety-inducing enough. Knowing that it happened to 2 will keep me up for many nights. It's not 2, it's 3. 3? Alongside the notes, I found an old map with fresh markings. All the names were outdated, but the intention was clear, marked with 5 interplanar portals. 30 years ago, their sudden disappearance tore fissures into Gaia. I've been lectured about how to pronounce that. I think it's Gaia. I believe they were the first sigil. Oh, so the appearance of the twilight of the portals 30 years ago was the first sigil. So that means there's only 2 left. Okay. Bad, right? Very. Who could have done this? I don't know. And why, of all things? If the Aether Tree collapsed or even shifted from its perfect balance, the destruction would end us all. Who would want that? I mean, no one who's thinking rationally. I mean, we know that these are definitely not natural occurrences. I feel like the Innkeeper would like to think that they're natural occurrences, but like, let's be honest. Okay, so no one who's thinking rationally, that's for sure. They might have a good reason for it. Look at his little, I like his little skull thing. When he's upset, it wiggles. Oh, fuck. See, even Renu's upset. They might have a good reason for it. Maybe we can talk them out of it. I doubt it. Me too. Whoever it may be that's causing this, they only have 2 sigils left. Would be quite bad, right? Don't they say that waking the Elder Dragon would start the apocalypse? They do. I feel like there's too many ways to start the apocalypse. Maybe they're all connected, and the waking of will break the last sigil. Although, I'd like to think breaking all the sigils is indeed impossible. Because it's impossible to reach Tuat in the spirit realm, correct? It's not exactly impossible. One can make it to the spirit dragon via the astral sea at the dawn of the dying moon. That's in 5 days, right? Dawn of the 31st. 31st, so 36th. And then the 39th was the date that our friend said in the letter, was like, oh, everything will happen on the 39th. Yes, but worry not. To reach such a specific location in the astral realm, very specific rituals are necessary, and Gaia's portal to Cassiopeia is indispensable. Said portal is located in and safely protected by the Aperture, the stronghold of the Order of Starlight. and its rituals must be performed with outstanding accuracy to withstand the treacherous astral currents. Only the highest-ranking members of the Order are privy to this knowledge, and I guarantee you all of us would rather die than aid in the destruction of this world. If the rest of them are half as stubborn as you are, I think we're well protected. Exactly. That's good then. The rest is worse. What's bad is that we don't know who's behind this, or why, by the dragons and the endless horizon, anyone would desire something so vile. I can already sense your next quest. But can I offer you a drink first? Your throat must be dry after all that exposition. I wouldn't say no to a drink. Perhaps something to keep my mind intact, defended from lunacy. I feel like I'm going mad. Say no more. Ooh, let's check out this new drink. Ah, it's agility! Finally. Finally. Such a long time to go without, I don't think we've ever made this, have we? The steel tonic. It's got 3 defense, so let's try that. Why not? That'll do, I think. See? A little bit more strength. 3. And 1 agility. Oh, whoops. Alright, here you go, Andy. There we go. Steel tonic. With some red hot chili peppers. A delicious defense against the absurdity of evil plots. Thank you. This makes me feel a little less conspiratorial. I needed a breather. You know what else would make for a great breather? Fable's barbecue? Exactly. You're right. That would be quite pleasant right now. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I don't think the barbecue is happening today. Oh, right, because Fable isn't back. Fable hasn't returned from their quest yet. Oh. What quest are they on? Finding Melina. We just saw Millie on the way here. Perhaps they found another quest while out. Heroism can be infectious like that. Innkeep, what kind of drink did you mix them? None. Maybe we should go look for them. Maybe so. Please do. No one has seen them in days. And the last things I said to them, I'd hate for those words to stay the last. Please help me find them. Of course. I'm sure they could slay any monsters without us, but some extra hands couldn't hurt. But you'll have to deliver your apologies yourself. I'll slay that beast when it comes to it. Very well. But first, we must solve our urgent sigil problem. I feel like we're missing one piece. There he is! My favorite vampire! Oh god. A piece of what? Cake? I'd like to order my usual cake, Innkeeper. I don't serve cake. Never have. Oh, maybe you should. Another delicious delicacy would be... also still no blood. Aww. The sorrow I'm feeling almost equals the grief I felt after the vampire glitter competition of 1389. Oh? I had run out of glitter. I could serve you one of my usual drinks to alleviate some of that heartache. That would be splendid. I'd like something to enhance my immortal strength. No shopping bag shall hold me back today. I'll see what I can do. I'm not quite landing the voice. I'm aware of that. Strength. 3 strength. We'll just do one of these. 1, 2, 3. That's not 3. There we go. That's 3. Here, with all the strength of a raging fire. Thank you, dear Innkeeper. My blood is boiling with euphoria. Any particular reason for your shopping trip? A very particular one, dear Innkeeper. It's a matter of life and death. I must head out to purchase this wondrous sustenance known as comfort food immediately. Do you know what comfort food is? I haven't the slightest idea. But it is rumored to restore you mortals back to full health. I'm afraid Rhea would perish should she not receive it. That sounds serious. Has she fallen ill? The fatal cause of something she called being in the zone. I assume it's highly dangerous. She's refused to move away from her drawing board for over a year now. She even threw me out of the room upstairs when I offered her a blood pellet snack. How will her body handle another year without food? I have some good news for you. Rhea hasn't been sketching for a year. You guys checked in yesterday. He's my favorite. Still, I love this guy so much. Oh, God. How fortunate. And as for your legendary item, you should ask her about it. Generally, everyone has a different idea of what they consider comfort food. How wondrous. Though something tells me you should give her some time before you go back upstairs to ask. Why? Call it intuition. I don't think intuition is a very good name, Innkeeper. Want me to help you find a better one? Of course. I'll think of one before the next 80 years are up. Thank you. I shall remain for a while. And once I have acquired the correct comfort food, I will make sure my friend eats every last bite. Like a vampiric mother hen to her vampiric chick. I didn't know there were vampiric chickens. There aren't. Do you know that for certain? Yes. I could have sworn the ones at my family's estate had fangs. Chickens can't develop teeth. And here I thought we were comrades in blood hunger. Chickens are very fascinating all on their own. Did you know they are very colorful dreams? Oh, that's nice. I once helped a wild hen with her dream journal. I'll introduce you to sometime. My favorite thing about chickens is that they purr when they're happy. What charming creatures. The more I learn, the more they remind me of vampires. So simple, sweet, and ferocious, yet their origin harbors one of the greatest mysteries of life. What came first, the chicken or the egg? The egg. Yeah, it was the egg. Not going to weigh in? I am intellectually withdrawing myself from this conversation. But unlike this unsolved mystery, I do know how vampires are created. Would you mind elaborating? Weren't you intellectually withdrawing? As a cleric of Cassiopeia, humility is a lifelong object that I strive towards. As such, I must admit when I need to concede words spoken in haste. Which would be now, I suppose. Please, Kyle, if you wouldn't mind expanding on what you just said. Certainly. It must have been over 5 centuries ago when a scholar stole some of the immortal blood of the dragons. The scholar offered it to Queen Annabeth, who would become the vampire's monarch. I have never heard of Queen Annabeth. I think that's just the plot to a really challenging board game, Kyle. Oh, you're right. So then, Mike was real after all. Mike? Yes, it's all coming back to me now. The first vampire that walked the earth was called Mikhail. Ale. Most of us still call him Mike. He had a very close connection to the spirit dragon and his domain. Eventually, Mike struck a deal with Tuat. In exchange for guarding the dragon's realm, he would get to live forever. But that didn't work out, I guess. Old Mike didn't read the fine print. The spirit dragon turned out to be a trickster. Tuat turned him into a new form of undead creature, invulnerable to age and disease, but still weak to the blade. Blood was the only thing he could stomach to consume, and with time even sunlight became intolerable. Mike was no longer welcome among the living, but the dead didn't want him either. And that's how the first vampire was created. Fascinating. There's so little known about the spirit dragon in his realm. Kyle, how do you possess knowledge that's considered ancient by today's standards? What knowledge? The knowledge you just told us about. Ah, I stumbled upon it in a grimoire I bought the other day at the local bookstore. Nope, that was a vampiric romance book Carolyn recommended to you. Try again. But of course! Dear Evelyn was such a history fanatic. How could I not pick up on a few stories? That was one of her favorites. I still dream of her deathly beautiful countenance as she narrates tales until the intruders stop screaming. He's so great. She always told the story of our progenitor, Mike, so softly. She would cradle a vial of his blood, and her tone would turn so reverent. A secret to share with me, she would say. Uh-oh. I didn't mean to break the last oath between us as well. I'm sure we can help you keep that a secret, right? A secret between friends. If secrecy is how we can repay you for sharing this with us, then so be it. Since you seem to have been very close to her, I wanted to let you know. We traveled past Marrow Castle on the way back. It looked awfully damaged. The destruction looked fresh, if only we had passed by a day earlier. Clay even spotted a heavily armored silhouette a short distance away from what remained of the castle walls. This has to be our friend. They must have taken the blood of the vampire, the first vampire, because remember, we were told that there was a vial of blood that was from the first vampire. Who told us that? That was when, I don't know what his name is now, Dave, the rogue guy, went to the castle to get the cloak. He collected us this clock, and it was sitting next to a vial of that blood that was labeled as being from Mikhail. So that must be something to do with what's going to happen with Tuat. Like, maybe that's one of the ways that they can get into his realm. Anyway, we hurried over as quickly as possible, but the shadow was gone by the time we got there. As it was, only rubble remained. Was my dear Evelyn unharmed? We don't know. The castle looked abandoned, like a ruin. My Evelyn, what horrible fiend could have inflicted such damage? She must have fought back fiercely. May her opponents suffer twice the damage they inflicted upon her. What I wouldn't give to know if she's safe. I think I need to go ask Rhea about her comfort food. Let's give him some time to come to terms with what he's just learned.